What happens in the sky affects life down here on Earth. The Celestial Compass shows you how and guides your way with astrology you can use from professional astrologer Kathy Beal. Every episode features her light-hearted, practical forecasts and navigational tips, blended with humor, optimism, and a love of patterns, symbolism, and pop culture references. Kathy translates technicalities into concepts that apply to real life. You'll learn how the current moment ties to where we've been, from the recent past to cycles that last happened years ago, and get a look at where we're heading. And much more, from special topics to special guests. The Celestial Compass, enlightening, entertaining, and empowering. Here's your host, Kathy Beal.
Greetings, Earthlings. I'm Kathy Beal of EmpowermentUnlimited.net. Welcome to Celestial Compass and welcome to 2024. I'm going to start with a brief update of the forecast for the month of January with a reminder that you can find the full forecast at omtimes.com and also at my site, EmpowermentUnlimited.net. And this month has a lot of really supportive energy for planning. Whether you're a person who makes resolutions or not, doesn't matter. You'll find that there's a lot of step-by-step forward practical energy. So don't give yourself a break. Don't feel like you're going to hit the ground running into this year. Mercury is stationing direct, ending a retrograde on January 1st, and it's going to take about 5 or 6 days before it moves. So the year will probably have a kind of slow start. And then Mars, which rules our drive, and then Mercury, communication, and by 2/3 of the way through the month, Venus, our social mode, will all be in Capricorn, which is I see the goal, and here is how I am going to painstakingly, step by step, get there. The big news of the month, however, is when the sun moves into Aquarius on January 20th and the doorway opens for the second time into the next 20 years. When Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius. We got a taste of this last year from the end of March until the beginning of June, and now from the 2/3 of the way through January until the beginning of September, we'll get more. We'll walk through the doorway and take a look around with a shift in how we're going to experience power, technology, the power of the collective, all kinds of things. So pace yourself this month. You can't push anything through. Just plan, be practical. And speaking of planning, if you go, Donna Woodwell, my frequent collaborator, and I are doing our annual overview of the year this week. And if you go to my site, empowermentunlimited.net, there is a link at the very top where you can get information about the time and the price. And of course, replay is always available if you come. And you get a workbook because Donna's a Virgo. Okay, so enough with that. Our guest launching the year is very exciting. It is Susan Miller, an internationally known astrologer, author, columnist, entrepreneur, and pioneer of the internet. She's the founder and editor and writer of astrologyzone.com, created in 1995. Her site is considered an authority in the field of Western astrology and is read avidly by 13 million unique readers. Her audience loves Susan's philosophical style, as well as her accurate, comprehensive, and insightful reporting of current planetary transits. She's recognized worldwide for her astrological writings outside the box into areas of business, technology, lifestyle, culture, and the economy. She's created 2 award-winning apps, Astrology Zone Horoscopes and Moonlight Phases, which is about moon phases, void of course, available on the Apple App Store, and Google Play. She's the author of 17 astrology books, as well as the popular The Year Ahead Astrology Calendar series, She also writes monthly columns for Vogue Japan, Vogue China, W South Korea, and Amica Italy. Her latest book, The Next 200 Years, is available on Kindle and bookbaby.com, in which Susan discusses the critical conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn that occurred in December 2020 and major breakthroughs and trends that will radically change life as we know it in decades to come. Welcome, Susan. Okay, hi, Susan. I've just introduced you. Welcome.
Oh, I don't know what happened, but the phone went dead on my end.
Well,
Hello.
yeah.
Isn't
Greetings.
technology fun?
Always, always, always. I think everybody, we're recording this in advance of January 1st. I think maybe we have a
Oh,
little bit of the Mercury retrograde
oh yeah.
energy happening, even though we're not in the antrograde as we're
Oh, you
recording
always
this.
feel it ahead of time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
how have you been, Susan? It's been a year since we've talked.
well, I've just come through a hard time. An infection made me completely blind for 10 weeks, and then I came gradually out of it. But now it seems to be edging back, so I have to see the doctor on Tuesday. So it was
Oh,
really, really hard.
that is
Yeah,
terrifying. I am so sorry.
yeah. Well, I have a degenerative eye condition that I inherited from my Italian side of my family. And it's so seeped in the genes that they asked all of us to come to the doctor and get swabbed a few years ago. But it showed up when I was 35. It's supposed to show up when you're 85. They didn't start treating it. It was too early, but 14 years ago they did. I get a needle in my eye every 4 weeks for 14 years. Crazy, right?
I share your situation. I get it in both eyes. So yes.
Oh, I was
Uh,
getting it in both, and I gave up on the left eye because
oh dear.
all I can see is the E on the chart and fuzzy E, yeah. But
Oh
it
my.
helps you when you go blind in the other eye. It helps a little bit, not much, but a little. So I'm just
My
happy
goodness.
with
Well,
it.
everyone, we're going to just send you very curative healing energy.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
I'm sure that listeners will just start piling it on as soon as they hear this. Have you been
Uh,
thinking about anything astrologically while you've been doing this?
Oh, of
Is there,
course. Well,
yeah.
I finished my calendar on Labor Day, and I cannot talk about the year ahead before I study every little gram of the year. And by writing the calendar, I can really periscope into every single day and start to see patterns. And this will be a better year. I think this will. What made this year tough for many people, especially the fixed signs. And I'm not a fixed sign, but I saw it all around me. The Leos, the Aquarians, the Tauruses, and the Scorpios. Is that Uranus in Taurus was in the wrong place. It was just in a position to cause shock waves, and the fixed signs don't like change, and yet change was coming like a freight train.
Hmm.
They were getting uprooted, and there was a lot of that surprise element. And I think anything's easier than a surprise as you grow up. You have a lot of responsibilities, and then you have these big surprises in life. But it's meant to keep us on our toes. But I'm sure the fixed signs are saying, I've proven that already. and this will be a better year because the eclipses are moving out of Scorpio Taurus into Libra Aries, and they're gentler, they're milder, they're sweeter, they're better. So eclipses are the nodal points of the year. Those 4 days, usually there are 4. Some years there's as many as 8. Oh, mamma mia! But no, this year only 4. March 24th. Then there's a big one, April 8th, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And
Hmm.
then later in the year, September 17th and October 2nd. But what makes the October 8th so interesting is we'll be able to see this one really well. Usually they're somewhere over Europe or Africa or Russia or somewhere else. But this year, and it's a new moon eclipse. New moon eclipses are nice. They open up opportunities. In Aries, fresh start, very entrepreneurial. It starts down in Texas, let's say El Paso, all the way down, and then goes diagonally across the United States up into Niagara Falls and beyond. And you can go on Google and just say path of totality for the April 8th eclipse and see it for yourself. Now, I live in New York City, so we'll see a slight partial. You know what I mean? It won't be perfect. So people are saying, no, wait a minute, I want to see this. So people are booking hotels and planning their trip for April 8th. And it should be something to see, but you have to get those crazy funny glasses, but they'll be offered. I mean, it'll be pretty easy to get them 2 months ahead. You know, you want to plan ahead. You don't want to look at an eclipse. No.
No.
So, Jupiter will change signs mid-year. Saturn won't change signs, but
right.
Pluto. I wrote a whole book about what's going on with Pluto. Pluto is the outside horse on the racetrack. You know, he's the one all the way over to the precipice of the solar system. He is the outside runner, and it takes him 248 years to go around the sun. He is very powerful. And you might say, well, why if he's so far out? Because in a chart, he stays in each house a long time. Yep. So he makes his presence known. But he has a big effect on society. Let me give you a little example. I always think of him as a person. And okay. I see God saying, Pluto, come on in. It's 1995. He says, I got a new assignment for you. You're going to leave Scorpio, and you've been doing good work there, but I'm bringing you into Sagittarius, a very important assignment. So what am I going to do? He said, well, Sagittarius is a publishing sign, and, you know, the internet was created by the military, but now we're going to bring it to everybody. Everyone will be able to learn about the internet, and I'm putting you in charge of that. Oh, he said, this is great. How long will I be there? He said, you're going to be in Sagittarius until 2008. He says, oh, will I have a team to help me? No, not originally. You're going to work alone, and you're totally capable, and you're going to start the internet going. And then when you leave, Uranus, the planet of genius, and Neptune, the planet of vision and creativity and the arts, will come in Aquarius and help, you know, set it. But, you know, and I felt Pluto right away. He was 1 degree, and Time Inc. came to me and said, would you like to have a web presence on our website? And Time Incorporated, I couldn't believe it. I said yes, and they wanted something short for men and for women, just for women. I said, no, all people want to know the future, not just women. What are you thinking? They said, oh, that's true. And they said 50 words per sign. I said, no, I want to change the world. I can't change the world with 50 words per sign. They're looking at me like, what's wrong with her? You know? And that's when Astrology Zone was born. Actually, next month, it'll be 28 years now. So anyway,
Saturn return time.
Yeah, for the website, yeah. And I'm ripping it apart and making a new look for her. I'm starting right now. I'm meeting with designers and engineers, and you know, I have to hire 2 firms that will work together, and I can't have an individual. I have to have, you know, a team, because you know, we have to stay on the air while we do the other, and then move it over. I mean, it has to be done right. I have 1.5 million readers, unique readers a month, 13 million a year. So anyway, God called Pluto back and said, okay, it's 2008. It's time to switch. He said, oh, where am I going now? Capricorn. What am I going to do? Well, Capricorn is a big money sign, and I don't like what's going on with the mortgages and how banks are treating people around the world. So you're going to go in and fix that. And instantly, the minute Pluto went into Capricorn, bingo, we had the financial crisis, but it did straighten many things out.
Mm-hmm.
Now Pluto's moving again. Now we got a little preview, a tiny little preview last spring, April, May, and part of June. And Pluto went into Aquarius, the sign of the future. Suddenly, all of a sudden, we're hearing about driverless cars and we're hearing about AI. And none of these things were kind of on our radar, at that time. But there were also some problems, some concerns about AI. I certainly have a lot of concerns about AI, but you can also see the benefits on the other side. And, all of life is going to look different. And there's another reason, because we had the grand conjunction, which is rare. Jupiter and Saturn met in Aquarius on December 21st, 2020, right, during the pandemic. And what were we doing? We were all isolated because Aquarius tends to be distant from other people. They have more friends than anybody in the whole world, but they keep only very few close to them. And we were suddenly on Zoom. We didn't even know what Zoom was before that. For most people, I didn't. And we were on Zoom all the time, and we were afraid to leave the house because the pandemic was raging here in New York. It was pretty bad. And we were eating better because we weren't doing takeout. We were wearing different clothes because we weren't going to the office. And things were very different. And a lot of what happened during the pandemic is staying with us now, the hybrid workers, which is great. It's great for women because if you have a little baby and your babysitter doesn't come that day, your whole life unravels. And employers found that people can work just as hard as home, and they don't need to be watched. So, they found that people are good working on their own. So it's going to change things. We got a little preview in last, spring, but it's coming, and it's going to stay 20 years. It will move out a little bit from September 1st, 2024 until I think it's November, around the 17th. It'll come back to Capricorn just for a minute and then just stay in for 20 years. So it will change life as we know it. And it will be different, just like the Industrial Revolution changed everything. Every once in a while, yep, here we go. Brave new world. But so we have to put up guardrails. When I was on the internet in the beginning, it was so wild. I mean, people were stealing each other's content. I wasn't, but people were stealing my content, and the readers would tell me. How did they know? They knew my voice. And they said, go look over there. That's you, and that's another person's byline. And even though I had a federal trademark, I mean, it was a crazy time. When President Bush changed, he did one big change that really helped me, but it was years later. He said, every state is controlling the internet, and we can't have that. We have to make it a federal control, not state by state, and we will put up laws, and we will, make it much more sound. And it did help me a lot. It really changed my life quite a bit. It wasn't so wild anymore. And, people were selling things that you'd ingest that were really bad for you. And all kinds of crazy email would come in. All of that stopped. So much of it, it got better. So I'm excited about this year because Jupiter goes from Taurus to Gemini, and those are the two luckiest signs for 2024. But everybody will have good luck, actually, everybody.
It makes sense, Jupiter being like Taurus, because Taurus is about very tangible, consumable aspects of life. But How do you see it being lucky in Gemini? I'm curious about that.
Oh, I love Jupiter in Gemini. Gemini is information, and we need accurate information. The whole problem of misinformation has been set up by a lot by Neptune in Pisces.
Hmm.
That's when it really. Neptune's been in Pisces for a really, really long time. Neptune stays in one sign for 14 years. So we need Jupiter in Gemini. Gemini is going to help the transportation industry, and I think we'll see driverless cars and trucks a lot sooner than we think it's going to be.
Interesting.
I'm
Okay.
a little nervous about the 18-wheelers that are going to be, but there's, I took an Uber the other day and I was talking to the Uber driver. I said, once we were on the highway in LA, you know how they are in LA, you're driving everywhere. And the car stopped because we were in tremendous traffic. And I got an alert on my phone saying, did you have an accident? You haven't moved in 10 minutes. What's wrong? And I said to the driver, how do they know? He said, oh, they have a war room. Yeah, they have big screens. They can watch all the cars. There's blinking lights when a car has stopped for too long. I'm like, oh, that's great. So they're probably going to do that with the driverless cars too, and make sure there's nothing wrong, and that someone will be able to watch. I want a human being watching some of this stuff. But if they could do it with Uber, they could do it with the driverless cars. So I feel a little better. But also, there'll be a lot of strides in medicine. And I was watching 60 Minutes the other night, which I watch religiously because they always give breakthrough news. And they said that IBM was announcing this week, earlier this week, that they have a new computer called a quantum computer based on quantum physics that will make all the computers we use now obsolete. That there are questions and problems that the new computer can actually fix or give the answer to, that the computers we have now would never, ever, they actually said never, ever solve it because they're too linear. This is a new way of looking at computing. It's pretty exciting. I'm sure individuals aren't going to have this computer right away. It's probably big companies, but, it'll trickle down to us. And everything's going to be faster. Well, Moore's Law, every 18 months, we get a breakthrough. That's everybody in the computer business knows that. And I think this is a huge one.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense with Pluto also, with Pluto moving into Aquarius, that will have a radical restructuring of technology.
And with Pluto, you don't have to wait around and say, oh,
no.
Drumming your fingers on the table. When is it coming? I don't see anything. No, he makes his presence known immediately. Yeah, he may be a dwarf planet, but he's still a planet.
Hey, anybody that disses Pluto, all you have to do is have Pluto transit a personal point in your chart, and it's real. Yes, it's real.
When you have Pluto, I had Pluto over Venus, and Pluto can be pushy, right? He can be demanding, and yes, I had that. Yes, in a business relationship.
Oh yeah, we all have stories.
I had to learn how to deal with this. Yeah.
And with that, right now, I'm going to interrupt. We're having our first break. Everyone, hang in, and we'll have lots more to talk about in just a couple of minutes.
Conscious media for conscious minds. Om Times. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Times. Hosting a show on FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Want help with your own celestial compass? Visit my site, empowermentunlimited.net, for Astro Insight forecasts for each week, month, and new and full moon. Want to explore the personal impact? Make a decision? Understand another person? It is possible. Click the Services tab to book a personal session with me. That address again, empowermentunlimited.net.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free, ascendinghearts.com.
You came across someone struggling with hunger. How would you recognize them? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for summer break
because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing
a job and getting back on his feet?
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to welcome back to Celestial Compass. We're talking today with Susan Miller about 2024 and whatever else comes along. And before the break, we were talking about some of the possibilities of Pluto in Aquarius. Do you have more thoughts about what this might mean for individuals?
Well, actually, Pluto tends to bring you where you're supposed to be. And sometimes when you get a Pluto transit and you're pulled away from something, because he can uproot you a little or bring you away from a business partner the way it did with me. It was a temporary project, but still it turned out to be unusually difficult. I never have any problem with anybody. But this person had unusual expectations that were outside the realm, But Pluto brings you to where you're supposed to be. And sometimes we get there kicking and screaming until we get there and we're like, wait, this is better. Wow. Sometimes we get into a rut and we don't change. And Pluto helps us change pretty quickly. I mean, I was an agent for commercial photographers, and suddenly Time Inc. asked me to be on the internet. I did not give up my day job. I think whenever you're interested in something new, you shouldn't give up your day job. You need income. But at night, I worked on my website, and then after 3 years, AOL was coming in, and I had to leave. And every door was being shut in my face, and I didn't know what to do. And but at the same time, Apple had written a nice story about me on their website called The Astrologer Believes in Apple. So I wanted to thank them. And I was already on the West Coast visiting Microsoft. That wasn't going to work out. So I asked them if they would like to have dinner with me. And it was at that dinner that actually Apple saved my life. They introduced me to InfoSeek, which wouldn't let me through the switchboard. They thought I was a headhunter. And that's it became the Walt Disney Company, and I was therefore on Go.com, ABC News for another 3 years before I cut the cord and went independent. And I never got venture capital from anyone. There's this rumor out there that I got money from these companies. No. They just paid me once a month for my material. It was an exclusive license. That's all it was. It wasn't venture capital or any investment. I own my company 100%. But it was very interesting. And for 6 years, I learned about the internet. And then I was ready to hire my own team. And, it's always scary when you do that. You feel like you're jumping off a cliff. But see, Pluto helped me. Here I was an agent for commercial photographers. I loved it. I was at the top of my field. We were shooting Coca-Cola and Audi and Mercedes-Benz and all those beautiful brands, Cheerios. And all of a sudden, I'm in a new realm, learning about something new. But, I'm also learning something new about crypto and NFTs. I think NFTs are coming in strong, not right now, because remember when Pluto was in Capricorn this past year, 3 banks failed, and Sam Bankman-Fried went to jail for the billions that he mishandled. So that put kind of a scare across the industry about crypto. But I'm not into cryptocurrency, but I am into NFTs. And I did some quiet, inquiries and reading up, and all the fashion companies coming out with NFTs, all the athletic companies, athletes, and other companies too. It becomes a ticket to get closer to the brand or the person. Like if Martha Stewart comes out with an NFT, I'll be the first one to get one because I would love to be closer to her. I would love to go to exclusive events. And she's a great teacher. I would go to anything she does as I admire her so much. So that's just an example. But, I think they're coming. And but the economy and everything, the whole world has to calm down a little bit before they'll come back. Everything has to be more stable, but they'll come back. They will.
So that would fit both Uranus in Taurus and the sign and Pluto in the sign that Uranus rules, Aquarius, it seems to me.
Oh yeah. Well, and also Jupiter's going to conjunct Uranus in the spring.
Right.
I think it's April 20th, and that's lovely. It's only going to happen once. That's it. But it gives such hope. It tends to give a breakthrough, something you don't expect, a stroke of luck. I love that. We haven't had that in a long time. So that it'll be good. It'll be good. And, there's so much to look forward to. Well, let's start with Aries. Aries had a wonderful year in 2022. Where they were starting a new cycle, and some of them got uprooted. My daughter used to be the music producer on James Corden, and he went back to London right at the time of the April 19th eclipse, and she was out of a job along with 200 people. And she had a new baby at home, which she had done on her own, not being married. She did it with a donor. And she said, I would have never had the baby had I known. I said, no, he was meant to be born. Don't worry. I'm going to be watching over you too, Mama Bear here. But she had won 6 Emmys, and CBS wanted to keep her. So she's now at the Talk. So, you get uprooted on these eclipses, but moving into a better place, higher position. Sometimes you need a little kick in the pants. And now Aries right now is under really good financial aspects. And if they say, no, not great, well, maybe you haven't asked for it. You have to partner with the universe. None of this is predestined. But when I tell you you've got great aspects to make money, you got to listen up because you only get this every 12 years. And Saturn's in a quiet place for them. We're not going to bother them too much. So they should ask for money, but they have to get that money before May 25th, when
Right.
Jupiter leaves and goes into Gemini. Then they will be either writing the book of their dreams or a screenplay or music or whatever. They might be starting a podcast, or they may simply be traveling a lot more, which is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
But when it goes into Cancer in 2025, that's when they should buy the house. So they could start saving in 24, waiting for Jupiter to get into Cancer, which rules home, in the middle of 2025. And they'll have a whole year to find their dream condo or house, and then they'll have the down payment ready. So it's all good. It's all good.
And
then
what about Taurus? Yeah, great.
They have they have the cornucopia. I mean, it's just, Jupiter tells you where he's going to give you the best luck, but when you have it in your sign once every 12 years, wow, the confetti falls all over you, and you can choose. Most of the time, people actually find love. Jupiter conjunct the sun is one of the nicest aspects for finding true and genuine, lasting love. So if you meet somebody, or this trend started May 10th, so this past year, May 10th, 2023. But it will continue until May 25th, 24. So the seeds you're planting now, Taurus, are going to grow into big oak trees. So be selective. You're going to get a lot of possibilities, a lot of offers. Be selective. Put your energy where it counts. And the home life should be wonderful because the sun naturally rules the fourth house for Taurus. So they may actually buy the house early, but next year, after Jupiter leaves Taurus, no tears on your pillow, because money starts coming in, the harvest starts coming in big time, but it all relates to the seeds you planted during Jupiter and Taurus, going back to May 10th. So think about the proposals, the new, maybe you started a new business or a new branch to your business, or you got a promotion and you're working hard learning the ropes. It's all good, because this is going to pay off. All that hard work pays off when Jupiter goes into the next gestation, the second cycle, the cycle in Gemini, which rules your second house of income, and which is that house naturally is owned by Taurus. Mm-hmm. Taurus needs money to feel secure. They like to feel they have a nest egg. They don't like to, go through life on the seat of their pants. They like to have a nest egg, and they will.
So Jupiter moving into Gemini bodes well for Gemini next year.
That too. And Gemini, you've waited 11 years for this, 11 and a half years. It's almost here, 6 more months, and you get your turn at wearing the golden crown, the sparkly crown. You're the king or queen of the zodiac, and you get what you want. If you do the math, if you live to 96, 8 times 12 is 96. You only get 8 of these years in a lifetime. And when you're really little, when you're 12 or 14, I don't know where you're coming in on the cycle. But if you're little, if you're 10, if you're 8, you don't feel it as much. You may get your own room or something, many new friends, but you start to feel it, after like when you're in your teens or beyond. You have to be a little bit older to feel these. So you only get 8 of these in a lifetime, but you get rewarded depending on what you've done before. Let me give you an example. Let's say there's this guy at work. He hands in inaccurate reports. He doesn't even do spell check. He talks back to the boss, and the boss says, "Oh my God, I've got to get rid of him. But I'm too busy. I can't." He has Jupiter in Gemini, so he's protected. But the minute Jupiter leaves, the boss says, "Okay, I have time now to interview people," and he's going straight out that door. So he's protected, but he's not feeling the full sweep, the full effect of Jupiter and Gemini. He's just keeping his job because he hasn't done anything to merit the rewards. You know what I'm saying, right? You get the luck, but it's dependent on what you've done before.
So I want to make sure we get to all of the signs before our time
Cancer.
is over.
Cancer. Oh, Cancer. They're making friends. They're expanding their database. I want them out and about. These are little homebodies. I don't want you to stay home. I want you to join a club. I want you to mix and mingle, go to conventions, meet people. This is where the golden nuggets lie. You have until May 25th. After that, you can stay home. You can have your privacy. I don't want to hear about it, though, before that. I want you out and about. Leo is having their biggest career year of their life. This is spectacular. And the luckiest day of the year falls on May 18th. And this is when Jupiter conjuncts the sun, and the sun is their ruler, and it's going to be in their 10th house of honors, awards, achievement, fame. Leo, go for the gold. Go for the top. Just keep working. Reward is within your grasp. You may have already seen evidence of this because this has been going on since May. But the Leo said to me, but what about love? You're just talking about career. Well, you can have that after May 25th. The second half of the year is very social, but don't fritter away your time. When you have a once in 12 year aspect to make you famous and to make you greatly successful, you don't want to do that. You want to use this time. Okay, now Virgo, you're coming up on this. You're going to go into your big career year starting May 25th, and it goes 12 months. But here's what I want you to do now. Last year, you started earning much better money. I want you to consider going on a long trip, somewhere you've never gone before. Kyoto, Cairo. Well, maybe Cairo is a little hot right now, but Istanbul, someplace you've always wanted to see, but never thought you'd ever get there. Maybe you studied it in college, you studied the art, whatever it is, or you want to go to France and see the cathedrals, whatever it is, you will find a bargain package on the internet. And I would love you to go right after the holidays are over. You're going to have a great January. By the way, January is a really nice month, a very strong, positive month. February is a little wonky. Early March has got a lot of demands on everybody. But I really want you to take a trip. Now, if you say, I've got a little baby or something like that, you have success in publishing, broadcasting, and also by going back to school. So if you can get mom to watch the baby while you go to school at night. My sister got her master's 6 years. It took her 6 years to get it, but she got it. And Virgo has that kind of dedication. So going back to college or university is a good thing, and you could probably get financial aid. Okay, now we have Libra. I'm really happy about this. Every month I would write about Libra, and they were trying so hard to keep their finances under control, and they kept getting hit with one expense after another. No matter how hard they were managing, manhole covers were blowing up around them, and they're like, this is uncontrollable. Well, now the universe feels guilty about that, and they're making a correction. This year, you're a money magnet. The first 5 months of the year, you are a money magnet. After that, you get to travel. And Libra loves to travel. This is an air sign. They love to get on airplanes, and you're going to go further than you've been before. This is not around the United States. This is probably overseas. And even if you say, well, I doubt it. I mean, I don't have that kind of money. My children are in private school or whatever. Well, sometimes you get a ticket sent to you by your boss or client that needs you in that country. So never say never. Okay, now we have Scorpio. Scorpio had a very rich internal life in 2022. It was really nice. This year, and 21 too, they were concentrating on their personal life. And this year, actually, they have the best marriage aspects. And if you say, well, I'll need a total eclipse to make that happen. Well, you won't have that. You've had them already, but you have Jupiter in the house of marriage. So commitment is just great. And if you say, well, I'm not even dating anybody. Well, if you have to hire an expert, such as a lawyer or an accountant or even a doctor, because professionals fall in this house, or a social media manager, whatever, partnerships are magic. And Scorpio likes to do everything themselves. So this is new to them. Yes, there are qualified people in the world, Scorpio, and you can find them and actually do better by linking forces, by joining forces, I should say. Okay, now Sagittarius. Sag has been having problems with their home with floods, and I keep talking about this. It's going to keep up for another 2 years. So if you are moving because you can't take these floods anymore, just be sure your appraiser, if you're buying a house, or a renter, ask if there's been any problems with water, because you have Neptune in the 4th house of home. You also have Saturn there, the lessons we learn in life about family and about, well, I bought my apartment when I had Saturn in that house. You grow up and you learn about what everybody else has already learned. And you learn how to go through the process of buying a house or an apartment. I bought an apartment. So, Sag, this is definitely on your mind. Now, you're going to have the best marriage or partnership aspects after May 25th. And this is lovely. Right now, you have great fitness aspects. So if you gained 5 pandemic pounds, you could get rid of them. You can get stronger. You could take up a new sport. It's great for health. If you have any chronic condition, you want to find an expert to help you. You know, sometimes we get stuck with one doctor who makes a misdiagnosis. Keep going. Find one more doctor to see if they can help you, because you have the right aspects for that until May 25th. So you have lots of time. After that, all the partnership opportunities come up for a whole year. Now, Capricorn. Capricorn won the jackpot because they have Jupiter in their house of true love. Oh, true, genuine, long-lasting love. This is great. It's in your 5th house. This is where you want Jupiter to be. And Jupiter's in Taurus, and it's an earth sign. You're an earth sign. Oh, you absorb his goodness easily. Now, if you say, well, but I already found my true love, then think about baby. You know, if you saw my letters from readers, difficulties with conception is epidemic. And women are writing to me quite a bit. This is the year to try to have the baby or go to the fertility expert. If you're young, if you're under 35, please freeze your eggs. Nobody tells you. The media is very lax about warning you that when you go to a doctor and you're 35, they start calling you geriatric. Can you imagine they call you geriatric at 35? That's awful. But it means your eggs are getting old. So freeze them early. And let's say you're listening and you're 37. Don't worry about it. Just go to the doctor. There's always a chance. Don't worry. I've known lots of girls who've gotten pregnant at 37, 38, 39, even 40. So, you know, but you have to get on the stick and start if having a child is important to you.
We're nearing the end, so if you could please finish up with Aquarius and Pisces.
Aquarius, you have fabulous real estate aspects. You're going to fall in love in 2024 after May 25th. You might want to rent a cottage, you know, somewhere where singles go. It's great. Love is fabulous. For Pisces, communication is your key to everything you want. Now, if you want to buy a house, you have to wait until after May 25th. Home, family, help from family is enormous. They believe in your goals and they will help you, even with a check. Don't think you can't ask. You can. It's okay.
Well, all right. That was Whirlwind. Now there's more information that people can get. You have a calendar, right?
I love my calendar. I self-publish it. It takes me 7 months to write it, and then we go into triple edits and we check every single fact 6 ways to Sunday. Yes, it's accurate, and professional astrologers love it, but also normal people love it because I use English, like Jupiter conjunct the sun means this, and it's in the grid, and I try to have cute and funny and accurate, little possibilities for each day that you can use it. A lot of people in sales have it up on the wall and check it when they're going to go see that big client. But it's good for anything. I also have 2 apps on Apple App Store and Google Play. One of them is Astrology Zone Horoscopes, which gives all my essays and everything and daily forecasts, which there are 72 words plus. And then there's also Moonlight Phases, which has become a runaway bestseller. And I was even afraid to come out with it. It tells you when the moon is void. It means the moon isn't talking to other planets and nothing comes from your meeting. And it's very easy. I have GPS built into both apps so that when you travel, it follows you and gives you accurate information where you are. I have the moon in Virgo, so I'm very careful about accuracy. Take a look. Just search Susan Miller, and both of them should come up at once. Moonlight Phases and Astrology Zone Horoscopes. But I put a lot into them.
All of these are findable from your website too, which is
right on the
Astrology
homepage.
Zone.
And now I give free charts. You can do your birth chart for free, and you can get an interpretation by me right there when you do it. You just have to ask your mom, what time were you born, or get your birth certificate. And did you know the CDC shows you how to get your original birth certificate? There's a picture of the United States. They're working on international right now too. But just click your state and they tell you how to get it. It should not be $5. It should be $15 or more because that's the original one that the nurse wrote. It's handwritten. And that's the one you want because it has the time of birth on it.
Oh,
so
very
this
interesting.
is so great. When I saw that, the Center for Disease Control had it. I said, you are my best friend. Thank you. Now I have a place to send readers. This is really great. You just Google, how do I find my original birth certificate? And I'm sure the CDC will come right up.
Well,
yeah,
thank you
it should be anywhere from $15 to $25. I'm sorry.
No, thank you so very, very much. What a great kickoff for the year. And everyone, Susan's site is astrologyzone.com. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful year, Susan. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I always love to be asked on your show. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. And remember, everyone, that you can find my forecasts at omtimes.com and also my site, empowermentunlimited.net, which will have information about the 2024 overview that I'm doing with another very popular guest, astrologer Donna Woodwell. So I wish everybody a magnificent 2024. And thanks again, Susan, for being here.
Thank you. Goodbye.